Hey, welcome to Twin Oaks Farm Poultry on YouTube. We appreciate you joining us. We're at Twin Oaks Farm in rural Southeast Ohio, USA, and we're just a family farm raising poultry and producing top quality chicken that people enjoy to eat. And so currently we're documenting the progress of a flock that is set for processing around October 6, 2023. They are 15 days old right now, so we are going to take a look at the flock and give you an update on them and update on how they're progressing as far as the consumables, like how much food they're eating and how much water they're drinking, and talk about the temperatures that we've had. It sounds like we have rain coming in. We've had some thunder and lightning, and we're all still kind of like getting our bearings from that. So if it gets too loud, it's hard for me to talk over the rain on the metal roof. There's a lot of lightning. Turn this camera around a second. So we don't see this very often. We've got a startle response in the chickens. We really don't see that very often because they, of course, are very familiar with their surroundings. They're familiar with their handlers. Did y'all know that chickens do have the capability to recognize faces? And they actually are believed to recognize about 100 different faces and distinguish between them. That includes other animals and people. So chickens, like these meat chickens that are living in the same space for the duration of their production cycle, and that frequently see, those flashes you're getting are lightning just outside the barn here. But these birds see their handlers frequently. So in our case, there's 5 of us. The birds see me the most, but all 5 of us in our household actually work with the birds and help with the feeding and help with the watering. I believe we're getting doors closed up on the building now, so hats off to my youngest son. I mean, he's out there in the elements. The storm is coming, but he's getting everything buttoned up tight for the birds here. But you know, they're very much affected by sounds in their environment. And like I said, we hardly ever see this startle response. After, we maybe see it like the first 3 or 4 days as they're getting used to our faces and our voices as their flock managers. But once the birds are settled in and we constantly make an effort to work calmly around the birds, then we hardly ever see that startle response again, because we work very hard to keep it minimal stress for them and make sure that they're not stressed out. So they're hearing all this rain coming down, and that's why we're getting that startle response out of them. Hopefully my voice is carrying over on the film. We're going to try to keep recording, but these birds are really doing good. They've had about 3 days of super high heat. The real feel for them has probably been about 97 degrees, which honestly is probably about 15 degrees hotter than meat chickens this age want to be. So it's been difficult for them during the daytime. They've shown indicators of using their coping mechanisms to stay as cool as they possibly can, but they have been hot. We also have seen a little bit of indication of heat stress in the form of when birds like this, when meat chickens have some kind of heat stress or temperature stress, you'll see their manure become basically water. And so we did see that today, that their manure was watery. And now that the temperatures are getting lower again, they'll bounce back from that and recover. So it's much harder on birds if they experience extreme cold temperatures than if it's a heat stress. And fortunately for us, even though they had a heat stress for about 3 days, with the temperatures dropping down into comfortable temperatures overnight, they were able to recover. So you actually did see a couple of my family members in and out of the chicken growing pen here, and what they were doing basically was filling waters, cleaning out the water trays as best as possible, and filling the water dispensers. We have not filled feed dispensers, but we're going to. But we can estimate that this pen of 303 Cornish raw cross meat chickens in the last 24 hours has consumed about 22.5 gallons of water. And so it is interesting that you got to see that startle response, and now a lot of them got up, and so when that happens, a lot of them will go to feed, and you can see at most of these feeders, they're circling up around the feeder, just like that, and eating some of their feed, and same around some of the waters. So we will be putting feed in. They're basically consuming feed at the rate of 50 pounds per day as a flock. And one of the things we look at as a flock is overall, are the birds growing uniformly at the same rate? And overall, we're real satisfied with that. We do have a few, like there's one that just got up there, that if we would have that bird right up beside another bird, there's less than a handful like it that we believe by visual observation are just slightly smaller than some of their peers and the counterparts. We know it's not that they're runts. They aren't runts. Runts would have been identified within about the first week of production. Some are just smaller than others, and it could have to do maybe with being male or female, because we do have both in our flock. We're going to take a quick look if we can get it to focus at our production board. So down here, we're on day 15 now. I didn't write it down. It got up to 90, but felt like 97, and we're still at 303 chicks. You can see initially we were using about 50 pounds every third day for about the first week, and then it got to where we're using a 50 pound a day. See, we're opening up a new bag of feed basically daily, and you can see we've got feed going in now. So as we finish up feeding here, we're gonna conclude this video and we'll proof it to see if we can hear all of it. But the birds are really doing good. We'll let it run till about 8 minutes and just let you have a look at the birds in the pen. Thank you for joining us. Please subscribe to Twin Oaks Farm Poultry, and please support local agriculture where you live.